I hate how much I enjoyed watching Kamala Harris certify her own defeat yesterday. I'm not proud of myself. My wife used to say, Gallagher, you are a little man. And I am. I'm just petty. I'm petty and maybe mean-spirited. In fact, I saw a clip on social media last night that showed what Kamala Harris said when she was a candidate for president and what she had to say yesterday. I thought I'd share.
And I have said, and I'm very clear about this, Donald Trump should never again stand behind the seal of the President of the United States. He has not earned the right. He's not earned the right. And that's why he's going to lose.
The votes for President of the United States are as follows. Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 312 votes. Kamala D. Harris
Now, do you know how agonizing that had to be for her? And why do I shouldn't enjoy it? I really am not happy with myself. But gosh, it was a great moment. And there was all that concern about the snowstorm they've had in Washington, D.C., and would the lawmakers get back? And they did. It all came together. And, of course, Democrats are bragging, well, at least they didn't burn the place down. See, we can do this. There wasn't an insurrection. There's no riot. There was no Pearl Harbor. Some of these dummies are actually equating January 6th, 2021 to the Holocaust. You know how sick you have to be to even go there? First of all, if you're Jewish, how offended are you to hear the likes of this goofball, what's her name, Sunny Hostin over on The View? Is the clip, I don't even know if we should play it. Christian, does the clip contain her making this absurd reference to the Holocaust and Pearl Harbor and what the riot of a few hundred people is with one, dead Trump supporter, Ashley Babbitt, one murdered Trump supporter, that's the same as the Holocaust? Here we go. Sunny Hostin on The View.
I say no. You don't move on because January 6th was an atrocity. It was one of the worst moments in American history. And when you think about the worst moments in American history, like World War II, things that happened, like the Holocaust, chattel slavery, we need to never forget because past becomes prologue if you forget any race.
Now, these people are so goofy and so delusional and so nuts that they don't even recognize something like a CNN poll. Do you want to know what the percentage is of people who think January 6th, 2021 is important today? Wait until you hear the numbers guy, Harry Enton, over on CNN. Wait until you hear him telling a shocked John Berman just how many Americans really do care about January 6th. Scott Jennings, the great Scott Jennings, called it the Democrats' High Holy Day, which was perfect. And, I'll play that clip for you from the polling, which you're going to love, I promise. But as we get ready for that, I want to open up the phone lines to you and ask you a question. When the Sunny Hostins, the miserable Sunny Hostins of the world, say something as idiotic as January 6th is comparable to the Holocaust and slavery and Pearl Harbor and everything else, do they believe it? Now, this is about 2 minutes long, but it's worth every delicious second. You got the numbers guy from CNN, Harry Enton. And then you got John Berman, who's a leftist anchor on CNN, like almost all of them are, except for maybe Scott Jennings. And Harry Enton is breaking down the numbers of how many Americans do or don't care about January 6th, 2021. This is classic. This has to go into the Hall of Fame.
If you go back, 4 years ago, right, Trump's role on January 6, 2021 should make him ineligible to be president. The clear majority of voters said yes, 56%, 56%, and that was including removal from office. But of course, Donald Trump won the presidency, and part of the reason why was because views on Trump completely shifted, including Trump's role on January 6, 2021 should make him ineligible for the presidency. By 2023, 2024, it was just 47%. So we saw this drop of about 9 points, and that, of course, is all the difference in the world, going from a majority to short of a majority. And, of course, Donald Trump won the vast majority of the other 53% who did not believe that his role on January 6th would make him ineligible for the presidency.
Still a big number, but not enough.
Correct.
Right.
This 9-point shift was tremendous.
All right, let's talk about the why behind it, Harry.
Yeah, why? All right, so part of the reason why is, okay, was Trump greatly responsible for the attack on the Capitol? You go back to January 2021, it was 48%. By the time of December of 2023, look at that. Again, a clear shift down to 37%. This is an 11-point drop, very much mirroring that drop that we saw that the folks said that, of course, would make him ineligible for the presidency. So that is part of the reason why, right? Fewer folks thought he was responsible, greatly responsible for what happened on January 6th. But it's not just that. It's that people simply didn't care as much about the attack on the Capitol. Look at this. January 6th is your biggest memory of Trump's first term in office. By the time of 2024, look at this. Look at this. It was just 5%. Just 5% of Americans. And among Republicans, it was just 2%. So the bottom line is fewer Americans faulted Donald Trump or thought he was greatly responsible for the January 6th attack. And more than that, as it went into the rearview mirror, far fewer folks thought that it was their #1 memory.
Yeah, and this is an extraordinary number, given that President Biden, when he was still in the election, was really putting this as his main.
Didn't matter.
Never really was registering. All right, how about views of the results of the 2020 election this 4 years later?
Yeah, this, I think, says everything, right? Because part of the reason those folks attacked the Capitol was because they thought incorrectly that the 2020 election results, in fact, did not reflect the view of the voters. Votes were cast and counted accurately. GOP voters, after a given election, just 31%. Just 31% thought that about the 2020 election. Look at this. It turns out when you win an election, far more Republicans thought that the votes were cast and counted accurately, 94%. That is a 63-point jump, John. And that, of course, is why I think today will be mostly just business as normal.
Counting the votes, which is Congress's actual constitutional role. Harriet, thank you.
John Berman, the anchor, has the same look on his face that Kamala had yesterday when she had to certify her own defeat. They look like they're ready to heave. I mean, they just look like nauseous. Did you notice the numbers guy sneaking in that people on the Capitol on January 6th believed that the outcome of 2020 didn't accurately reflect the will and vote of the people? Did you notice how he said, and they felt that incorrectly? He goes, they incorrectly believed that the outcome of 2020 at the voting booth didn't accurately reflect the will of the people. And he claimed that's incorrect. If I had to ask you right now, did you think the 2020 election result accurately reflected the will of the people? 95% of you would say no. 85% of you would say hell no. Pardon my French. And that guy has to stand there. Look, you have a right to say, no, I don't. There are people right now who say, I don't think that the November 5th, 2024 election accurately reflected the American spirit. You get to feel that way. You lost, but you can be upset about it. Well, guess what? We get to be upset about 2022. Thankfully, it is all in the rearview mirror. And we have a lot to be grateful for. An awful lot to be grateful for. Poor Kamala. Let's continue to explore Kamala's very, 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 very bad day yesterday. Here she was with a brief, terse press conference. Wouldn't answer any questions. just gave a brief statement after she was forced by virtue of the Constitution. It's the only reason she had to stand there. As vice president, she's the one that had to certify her own loss. You remember somebody called the show last year and said, wouldn't it be amazing if we get to witness the day that Kamala has to certify her own defeat? Well, yesterday that day arrived, and here she was describing her duties with that constipated look on her face, the same look the CNN anchor had a minute ago over the fact that 5% of Americans think that January 6th was the most significant event of Trump's presidency. Nobody cares. Hey, Sonny Hostin, nobody believes you. You don't even probably think that January 6th is the same as the Holocaust. But check out Kamala. Again, I'm not proud of this. I don't like how much I enjoy this. I keep hearing my Denise in my head. I am a little man who wants to share this clip with you with glee.
I do believe very strongly that America's democracy is only as strong as our willingness to fight for it. Every single person, their willingness to fight for and respect the importance of our democracy. Otherwise, it is very fragile, and it will not be able to withstand moments of crisis. And today, America's democracy stood.
Now, I don't mean to be mean, even more mean than I've already been. Her hair all looks all mussed up, too. She looks like she's been through a rough night. She's had a rough day, a rough night, a rough week, a rough month, a rough year. Sorry, Kamala. You gave it your best shot.